Hello, Internet people. My name is Rick, and I have an interesting world to show you. Welcome to episode 4 of the Mitton World Server Tour. I was going to finish the tour of Rotorua before moving on to Farmington, but I'm so happy with something I just finished that I've decided to skip ahead. So welcome to the underground roller coaster. In this episode I will be talking about how it was made. What it looks like when you ride the roller coaster, and what it looks like when other people ride it. When me and Ann first found Farmington, one of the first things we noticed about it was that there was a ravine that was open to the sky in two places. Here it is. One of the first things I did was build this structure over it so that sheep and villagers wouldn't fall into it. Here's the second place where the ravine was open to the sky. This roller coaster is ridiculously big. It takes up an area equal to almost a quarter of the city. It stretches over here from this side all the way over to almost to the pig racing track. You can see one of the skylights from the roller coasters right here. I deliberately made this entrance far enough away that the villagers would never try to go into it. Because it's so big, there are two other entrances to make it easier to get in and out when you're working on it. Here's what you see when you go inside. There's the place where you get onto the roller coaster, and there's the sledge down here, which just gives you a little view of the area. Here's the disclaimer for people who are going to ride the roller coaster. Have an inventory space empty. You may get an egg. Also, you might catch on fire. Direct all fire-related complaints to the management. The roller coaster isn't meant to be a super fast thrill ride. Instead, it's supposed to show off the various views of the inside. Because of this, I made stops along the way where you can stop and get out of your cart to enjoy the views. When we first found Farmington, there were packs of sheep roaming around it, and I thought it would be funny to dye them various different colors. I showed this area to a group of people when it was under construction, and a 5-year-old girl said I should knock out the blocks around this sheep so that he would be stranded there forever. So I did. I put a torch on there so that a zombie wouldn't spawn directly on top of the block and possibly knock the sheep off. Here's the first area you come to when you ride the roller coaster. One of the things that's unusual about Mitton World is that it has more abandoned mines in it than any other world I've ever seen. This area certainly shows that off. This can't just be one abandoned mine, it must be 3 or 4 run together. Speaking of which, this isn't just one crevice, it's actually 4. 2 of them going this way and that, and then another two that happened to run through it, going that way and this. Of course, something this big connects to a lot of caves, but hopefully by now they're either blocked up or lit up enough that creepers and skeletons will stop pursuing you down the tracks. I used a diamond pick to widen this end of the crevice so that it would have a better view down the length of it. This area, on the other hand, was opened up using TNT. Even though this is a strictly survival server, I had more TNT than I knew what to do with, because I have this high-altitude monster spawner that I built, and all the dead creepers provide a lot of gunpowder. It takes a lot of sand to make that much gunpowder and all the glass you saw. Fortunately, I had tons of sand because of 3 massive sand quarries on this server, and my technique for getting large amounts of sand. If you'd like to know how I did stuff like that, quickly and easily, watch my tutorial on fast sand and sandstone. Here's a place where the roller coaster loops around itself. Towards the start of the roller coaster, you come in through here and then go off back that way, and then come back before going on to other places. But then later on, you come down here in the same place, and it goes back that way and comes forward again. This is one of the few pieces of the abandoned mine that was actually made by me and didn't occur naturally. You can tell because real abandoned mines never use slabs. I just built this to make it easier to get around inside here. These stairs were made by a beginning Minecrafter. I used them to lure groups of cows and sheep from the surface down here. Unfortunately for everyone involved, most of them didn't survive. They either jumped off ledges, got stuck in waterfalls and drowned, or wandered off into nearby caves, never to be seen again. Apparently someone thought it would be funny to put a snowman down here. I didn't do that. This abandoned mine is all naturally occurring, although I put glass where I thought the platforms should have been. I also brought in the dirt, and the plants, and the flowers, and I penned in some of the sheep and the cows I found down here for their own good. We found 3 zombie spawners and 2 spider spawners in the course of exploring this place. I opened up the walls around here so that you would see this one you were going by on the train tracks. And I like the way the zombie spawner activates when you go by. As you can imagine, building something like this generates a lot of cobblestone, so I built kind of a little work area to help stay organized. My friends complain that this place is incredibly confusing and that they can't walk around down here without getting lost. I wonder why. Here's an area that was meant to look completely natural, but was made by me. I dug the upper part out with shovels and picks, and the lower part out with TNT. This part of the abandoned mine was also made by me, just to connect the different areas of the train together. I made this part of the abandoned mine, and I was trying to get a tree down here, and I just happened to get a great tree on my very first try. And I thought, well, okay, that works. As you can see, I really like skylights. This whole place would not be so bright and cheerful without them. Torches just aren't the same. Here's another place where the roller coaster kind of wraps around itself. The tracks on the top, going diagonally, are right where you come in. And then this part you go by is from a little while later. And then down here, you can see the tracks that you ride sometime later after that. One of my favorite things about the roller coaster is the way that different areas are revealed as you go through it. For instance, here we are towards the start of the roller coaster, and you go through this short tunnel, and suddenly, boom, you're in this huge open area again. I don't know why, but this room has always been known for spawning giant slimes in it. Seems like it doesn't happen quite as much since I put the flowers in, but it still does. Here's a part you don't really get to see from the roller coaster. It's the floor of one of the crevices. All these waterfalls were here to begin with. We didn't add any of these. Here's a part that was completely created with TNT. When we first found this place, there was an abandoned mine tunnel on the left and on the right, but in between was solid rock. I completely opened it up with TNT. When I got down to here, I heard lava, so I dug around some more until I found it, and then I opened the area up to expose it so that you could see it. Here's a couple of spider spawners we found while exploring this place. I enclosed them and put in lights that can be turned on and off to activate it or deactivate it. Here's a part you don't really get to see from the roller coaster, the spider spawner room. Here's the switch that controls the lights. And over here is a block marking the sweet spot, where if you stand here, you activate two groups of spider spawners, which causes a lot of spiders to spawn. This is a functioning XP spawner. Over here we have some swords for hitting them with, some food in case you get hungry, and a lot of the cobblestone left over from creating this. There's a lot of spider eyes because it has been used. This clock is here because in theory you should go to bed at nighttime to protect the villagers in the village almost directly over your head at this point. This isn't quite as important now that there's a wall around the city and it's lit up inside, but it used to be. At this stop, there's a place where your character can get off the ride and get a drink. Again, all these waterfalls were naturally occurring, and here's a feature I quite like. This is something the player couldn't build. If a player put water and lava so close together, it would flow all over the place and make a big mess. But because this happened naturally, it stays there. Now we're coming up on my favorite part of the whole roller coaster, the lava room. I deliberately put lava over your head where it would drip down onto the tracks here, because it kind of tells you what's coming up. Lava. I liked the idea of putting in some dead shrubs, because it would look like some of the plants had been burned from being so close to the lava. And I put it on orange sand to bring more orange into the lava room. Half of the lava falls in here are natural, although I put in some of the more dramatic ones. I'm trying to keep these vines from actually getting too close to the lava and catching on fire because I'm worried that they will catch other things on fire, because this has already happened at least once. On the other hand, all the lava lakes seen in here are naturally occurring. Tropical trees are quite fussy, and they refuse to grow if anything is too close to them. I managed to grow one here anyways, but unfortunately it burned down. I'm not sure if it was too close to the lava fall, or because some of the leaves were directly over lava. So I came back with some tropical leaves, and I made a mini tropical tree out of what was left of it. And I deliberately made sure that this time none of the leaves were directly over lava. And this is why there's a warning about being lit on fire, because every so often random fire animations play, and I don't know if they're going to burn the player or not. They haven't yet, though. I dirt pillared up, and I raised the ceiling in this part up 4 or 5 blocks in places, just to make it more impressive. The crevice as we found it ended around here, which means everything in this direction was blasted open with TNT. These flowers were not even in the game when we first found this place. I was the one that wandered the server to all the different biomes collecting the different kinds of flowers. And I like the mix. I like the blue flowers that are normally only found in swamps and all the other ones. It was just a happy coincidence that I found two lava lakes so close to the floor of the lava-floored crevice. I see this episode's running way long, so I've decided to cut it into two parts. Stay tuned for part 2. Bye-bye!